have seen. Not say it matters more, but how it's made you feel. For one which you've had to deal. Oh, is but a blink of existence compared to the universe inside touch and feel. Inside it's so light, crashing existence under, yeah, rip. Oh, she said, when I fucking win, I am jeopardizing. 'Cause if you're feeling the air, then you'll get in the air, then you'll get in the air. If you're feeling the air, I fucking win. A stimulating image to your mind. There's a choice, one of which underlines the state of your belief. Admittingly, oh nah, existence energy dawned, changing course, cause and effect. In other words, course to deal. And if you're feeling the air, then you'll get in the air. And if you're feeling the air, what I fucking with, what you jeopardizing? Nothing in the air, nothing in the air, nothing in the air, nothing in the air. What I fucking with, what you jeopardizing?
Oh my god, I'm so not ready for this, guys. Okay. So, okay. Thrashed. Anyways, in a good way. Eternity, eternity to eternity. Wait. Eternity, eternity to eternity. Magical, sacred harmony. Positive power, infinite connection. Positive and vertigo. Here we go. Positive and vertigo. Positive and vertigo. Reflection. All right. So this is an accumulation of the 8-8 portal along with the 9-9 portal. And so I will be really kind of giving a bit of insight into what it means to manifest things, and then have to sort of deal with the repercussions of those manifestations. That's sort of my personal theme based on what these portals mean. 8-8 is the manifesting, intentions, and then 9-9 is the, are you sure that you got what you wanted, and you're gonna, is there truth to what you've manifested, and is that truly where you want to send things in life? Okay, so so the basic example is love or work or anything like that, but Anarchy Wellness is about wellness. So I will try to keep it to comprehension of our wellness path, your spiritual wellness, your body wellness, your mind wellness. are you engaging every ounce of your life being who you want to be, manifesting your passions and your desires and your intentions versus what you feed your body or how you exercise your body? Are these actions that you're taking, are they the proper ceremonies for the intentions that you're trying to manifest? Right? So if I say I want to be healthy but I eat ice cream every day, are my actions in line with what I'm and my assumed intention of manifestation? So by the time we get to 9-9, you had better start putting forth the proper actions. Otherwise, what you manifest is going to be, disharmony. So yesterday was an 8-day, and so I pulled a reading from the astrology.com chakra tarot, and I pulled that to kind of seal what was done 8-8, and it gets complicated if I try and do too much. It gets too complicated, right? There's so much going on with the tarot pools, and then my intention to kind of streamline it into our own personal comprehension. Okay, so where do we start? Where do we begin? Last month, and I can't promise any more than once a month coming to you, and I have not put forth any intention into this other than to gaining my own practice of understanding my interpretation of card reading. So I don't know where to start. That's the problem. Do I start with last month? Okay. Let me see. Last month. Not even sure where I began and where I left off and everything like that. If I have some intrusions, my apologies. I do not mean to have intrusions. I'm just trying to get to... Yeah, there was a lot on the 8. But I think I may have found the beginning. All right. And then all my glasses broke. I just don't think that there's a whole lot of support for my intentions here, because I can't make it happen. I'm trying to. All right, let me see. So in my interpretation, numerology of 8 is infinite connection. Okay, and we talk about how we can be stuck there if we don't, we can get comfortable there if we fail to understand that this comfort keeps us in a pleasant place, but it doesn't elevate us in any way. It doesn't push our evolution. It doesn't cause us to grow. And so when we come into the 9, it is called positive in Vertigo, but it is the dark before the dawn. It is all of the knowledge that you gain of your darker sides, or your the sides of you that are hidden, so that you can finally grow from this place of contentment. Infinite connection means that you know everything that came before and everything that comes after. So when you know that your next phase is hitting a, going through a dark time, why would you want to, right? It might mean that your next life, you face hardships, it's your final evolution before whatever gaining of senses that you get. So it's really hard to want to go. All right, so last time we talked about certain things, and I think I touched on, some basics when it comes to 8-8 really fast. I went through it, and so I think where I stopped is where I kind of want to pick up. I wish I had my glasses. Perhaps my magnifying glass will help me. This is bad. This is really, really bad. Alright. It doesn't even have my light on it. I'm so bummed. And so I'm trying to figure out what was the overall message of my last reading and the cards that we pulled. I'm really at a loss. I think I'm just so spaced. I'm completely spaced out because I want to say so much. And I want to... Like, do I just drone out and read? So last time we pulled Root, Magician, Sacral, we pulled the Chariot, Throat, we pulled the Death card, Crown, we pulled Justice. Where's my third eye? Heart. Let me see. Root, we pulled Magician. Sacral, we pulled Hermit. Solar Plexus, we pulled All right, so 8-8 seemed to be about crown, we pulled the justice. Throat, we pulled death. Heart, we pulled chariot. Solar plex. I can't tell if we pulled the sacral for the hermit or the solar plex. We pulled the Gemini 6. I think it was a hermit. The other one I'm not confident about is sacral. All right, so the overall of the 8-8 had a lot to do with taking your actions and making sure you weren't imposing some self-fears about who you might be. Trusting that you're enough and that all that you have accumulated and worked for holds water and holds value. And having the ability to bring together the harmony of your wisdom in kind with the harmony of your passions, so that your desires can be something that holds a truth to you. And so that gets into today's reading. Okay, so last month we talked about building foundations, having a powerful manifestation, to align your physical existence with your spiritual existence, to gain some sort of understanding that your instincts will shift based on your experiences. And so understanding that your sense of your instincts will guide you until you gain the experience. And then once you gain the experience, you must utilize the new knowledge that you have, allowing yourself to release the instincts that are no longer useful so that you may manifest, or a better word is build a new recognition for instincts that have been developed now, because those are the instincts that you then will pass on, right? Last time in the solar plex, we pulled the Lovers, and so enjoying a positive seeing that your choices that you've got to make are all about being able, again, seeing the choices that you have to make, because it's the solar plex, and so that's the core of you, your sunshine, your inner light, where your air meets fire and starts brewing the moisture that then creates the earth that you become. Okay, and so sun, so once it hits the solar plex, it's about illumination of your instincts. You start to see your instincts take shape, and so the joy of being able to see your choices. Sometimes we're so in the dark we don't even know what our choices are, and so just being able to see that, wow, okay, so at some point meat worked well for me, but now meat doesn't work well for me. So understanding, I had to go through what I had to go through in order for my body to decide which foods would be good for it, or I had to go through learning about my blood type in order to understand why frequency serve the different chakras. And so when I eat for my chakra, blueberries to illuminate the mind, bananas to calm the stomach, these kinds of things. When we eat for a chakra, or we eat to create the body part that it becomes, then we start understanding the power that every single thing has on this planet, that we all have some purpose and some power. So just sort of understanding that, appreciating the fact that a choice comes to us is very it's a gift. It's magic. It's magic. It's the fact that once we were unaware, and now we are aware, so now I have a choice. I can sustain my ignorance and pretend like what I have learned doesn't matter, and keep going how I want to go without any consideration for what my instincts are telling me. Well, then how is that going to manifest in the food? Okay, if I know Jack in a Box is not good for me, but then I eat it every single day, not only is my body going to reject it as sustenance, but my mind is already saying something's wrong with me as I'm eating this. And so that mental conflict that that we didn't know was creating conflict, is one thing. But then once now you can have a choice. Okay, so the baby being fed ignorantly a bunch of milk that doesn't belong to its body, doesn't know that that's going to be harm. So it's going to use all the best parts. But once you know that that milk is not good for you, or that you have issues with it, your body's not going to like it anymore. It's going to figure out how to make you not like it, burp and whatnot, and make it taste sour or whatever the fuck. So the idea is that comprehending that you have a choice, okay, means that you have the clarity to manifest what you want to manifest based on the instincts, okay? So there is a ceremony behind every choice, and that is the action that you take. If I say I want to be healthy, but I never go and ride my bike, or I never take a walk, or I never, do my leg lifts. If I say I want to be healthy, but then I fail to do these things, how is my spirit going to consider my truth? Pretty wishy-washy, right? So having the conviction is what will propel you forward. Okay, and so speaking of propelling you forward, last month 8/8 we had Heart Chariot, and so which also came up as the Home Health Hearth number as well. So there was a lot of trying to get us to not just start manifesting, but manifest from the core of what it is you are standing on principle about, what it is that you are taking taking action, propelling you forward about, you know. So it's your compassion. How is your compassion? What are the actions that you're doing that that serve what it is that you love, or what it is that you're passionate about, or what it is that your convictions are attempting to get you to realize on some level. And so just knowing that it may start with a thought, and then it may resonate with the feeling. But to make it something true, you have got to take a deeper contemplation of it and ask yourself, what is the action that I can take to prove this? So here we find ourselves today then, where we're trying to get to know our spirit beyond our physical body, our consciousness manifested in the touch, or the sharing of food, or bringing together, and how is my behavior really truly manifesting something from like the A8 portal and stuff like that when it comes to health, mind, body, and soul wellness. Okay, stuff gets. I hope this is entertaining. I know that I'm very much a drone when it comes to just trying to read this stuff, but the point is that when you start manifesting, the fact of the matter is that you will get what you ask for. And so if you fail to manifest something that you truly want, you got to ask yourself, did I take the actions to make that truly happen? Did I? You know? If I said I wanted to be a conductor, did I go to school to be a conductor? I mean, I consider myself a conductor of some sorts, you know, because I feel like, you know, I want to conduct my work. And yet, you know, any half-assed intention and your spirit will suffer because you didn't take it to the ceremony of action that was needed in order to truly manifest. So you get a portion of what you manifest, or some half-assed, you know, version of what you manifested, and you get this, you know, almost is one of my most hated words, I tell you. If you tell me, you know, I almost made it, I'm gonna be upset. You almost loved me, I'm gonna be upset. Okay, so almost is like, it's a tough place to live. And so that's why they consider, you know, 5 of Pentacles and you know, 9 is sometimes less fun numbers to pull when we talk about pulling cards and stuff like that. But truly, you've got to understand that the reason, again, why they're so conflicting is that, you know, we're not willing to see the positive side of it, you know, that yes, you know, while we're focused on what we don't have instead of what we do have, we are trying to have a sense of reality and really kick ourselves into taking the next step. And so that's what that discomfort is, because we get too complacent when things are harmonious and we don't feel the dissonance that's rooted underneath the harmony. So anyhow, 8 was about backing up your manifestations with actions, okay? And to complete the 8, yesterday was the 8th. Today is the 9th. So I wanted to pull cards for 9/8/2025 because it equals 8, and so we're still resonating. This is that yesterday was the end, if you will, of the strength of that manifestation. So whatever actions you actually took for what you manifested on the 8/8 portal, now you are going to have to deal with the ramifications of that as we hit 9/9 portal, and you're going to confirm that those manifestations is something that you wanted to wield. Okay, so positive and vertigo, infinite connection to eternity, to eternity, harmony equals infinite connection. Okay, so what does that mean? Positive and vertigo, the dark before the dawn, rough times, harsh times, infinite connection, the assumed all-knowing before the actual knowing, if you will, the to eternity, the duality of taking action in two directions, with two plights, and kind of like the chariot, right? And then eternity, meaning, we're going, once you understand that, while you can have a duality of infinite connection coming together, right? They come together. That's two eternities flowing, and then eventually they come together in and out. And so we learn how to go back and forth from the two eternities, that which is known, that which is unknown. Okay, and as we do that, every once in a while they become the one, and so we realize that there's an all eternity surrounding us, even though we shift those geometric relationships and splice because of our universal language of mathematics and frequency. So we pulled the devil card at the root, we pulled the heart, we pulled the Hierophant at the sacral, and then we pulled the sun card at the solar plex, we pulled the hermit card at the heart chakra, and then we pulled the judgment card at the throat chakra, we pulled the high priestess at the third eye, and with the wheel of fortune at the crown chakras for the 9/8. So we did that right before it turned 12 o'clock last night. I gotta tell you, I've been doing this down, reading in my brain for 2 months now, or a month now. So it's been really just, I really ask myself, why do I care? I don't, it's interesting, but why does it matter to me? And again, nobody's doing wellness. Everybody's afraid to do, it's like, I'm not a doctor, but I'm a wellness worker. So I don't know how to do anything other than to try to make motherfuckers well. Through song, dance, or, again, interpretation. So, ironically, the devil is pulled, and it's a Roman numeral 6, which is positive. And so again, this brings me to when you see the devil card and you acknowledge, the darker parts of your personality, or you realize that maybe some of the harsher realities of your personality sort of resonate with some of the damaging qualities of humanity, and you chuckle because, watching somebody fall down can be funny. That's, sort of the devil in us, and that it has to have a positive purpose, as much as it might seem negative, okay? So, sort of, so it said when it's pulled at the root chakra that there's a, so anyways, what I want to talk about, the root card we pulled, the devil. The Hierophant was pulled at the sacral. The solar plexus pulled the sun card. The Hermit was pulled at the heart. The Judgment was pulled at the throat. The High Priestess was pulled at the third eye. And the Wheel of Fortune was pulled at the crown. So this is about being able to understand that your higher frequencies and your lower frequencies are all there to begin to bridge and teach you how to hold true to yourself and to have courage while holding true to yourself and learning to express yourself and the truth of yourself in an authentic way. I could go over all of this that I've written down, for this day, or I can surmise what it's meant in its journey. So the fact of the matter is that it starts off with the devil and the darker sides within your passions and a need to be grounded. But then it, your crown chakra is at a Wheel of Fortune. So it's about understanding that any time you are at one place, it's about your perception. Okay? So if I feel like I'm down, then I'm down. And that's what I manifest, as being down. But if I see down as an up from where I was, then we are just continuing to go further on and on. Or if I look at this cycle and I realize that if I'm over here versus over here, it's just an opposition. It's not a wrong or right or up or down, because Australia is at the top of the earth, no different than Canada is at the top of the earth. It is perception. And so just kind of really truly understanding a journey looks down or up based on where you came from or where you're going. Okay? So anytime you think of the dark, you must see it as becoming light. Anytime you see the light, you must see it as becoming dark. And realize that, no matter where you're at in the cycle of this, that it is a part of a whole. And so once you can resonate with that core whole, now it's just scopes. Which scope do I see this as? And having the power to see that. So I may feel as though I have lost something, whether it's I lost weight, and so now I feel, pretty, versus, I gained weight and now I feel pretty. Okay? Those two things can be so true. Okay? It is the health of your perception, the willingness to go inside and think of these things different than what you have ever thought of them before, so that you can grow from just manifesting and hoping, that your actions resonate, to really being able to have an ability to discern that you have choices, and that, you know, one choice will lead one place and another choice will lead another place. But we may need both of those experiences, and we may need to, you know, hold both of those truths. And then we may need to swap those truths for different comprehensions of those truths. Okay, so yeah, I'm totally paraphrasing because this is a lot of work, and I really already did it, and I don't care to, you know, go into it more so. But I mean, that's the overall understanding, is that you have, once you begin to start manifesting and then you see how it unfolds, you're going to have to dissect that and see if it unfolded the way that you wanted it to. You're going to have to see if it holds water, if all of your attempts at correcting yourself were needed, or was that you were supposed to honor those instincts and then develop these instincts and now honor those instincts as they subside to new instincts. Always trusting your gut doesn't mean that your gut's always right. It just means that you're trusting your gut at that, for that moment in that time. And so when I say that I want something, or I say that I need something, I need food, I want soda, you know, understanding the difference between what that truly means and how am I manifesting it. So I've just spent my last dollar on a soda, you know. Is that going to quench my thirst, or am I still going to be thirsty? And heck, maybe it wasn't a thirst I was trying to quench, you know? Maybe it was sugar, maybe it was caffeine. So what was the true intention? Why did your instinct lead you to that? Can you truly dissect what you gained from it? Is that a true dissection of that? And are you willing to utilize that new comprehension of your truth to be able to trust what you're going to express? Okay, so just kind of understanding that every single thought is a frequency, and every single frequency resides in a truth that is either a profound truth, a superficial truth, a half-truth, a non-truth. Okay? So you have got to figure out, who are you lying to? Are you lying to yourself? Or do you truly not care about your health? You know, do you truly only care about Dr. Pepper and Jack in the Box? Because sometimes that's the truth of it. So, you know, just understanding, and then that truth will bring you joy when you get it. Ironic, huh? And in that joy, does it cause dishealth and disharmony within? I don't know. It depends. Does your internal self know how to waste properly and see that this is fun food? It ain't nutrients, so we ain't going to hang on to any of it. We're just going to send it right to the waste. And hopefully not your waste, but probably. Okay? Because if you're eating food that you're just going to waste, it's going to manifest in your waste. All right. So that's me talking about sort of the woes of manifestation, if you will. Because at this point, you know, when you start realizing, did I really do what I said I was going to do? Did I really manifest what I said I was going to manifest? Did I really want, now that it's 9/9 and I'm doing the whole, does it hold water? Is it truly what I want? Can I see where I want to manifest differently? And can I see to have forgiveness for what I have manifested, so that I may grow and figure out what I actually do want, what is the most authentic thing that I can bring from my core, from my guts, from my truest desires. Is my truth worth expressing? Do I need to revamp and learn? Okay, so today, those were the cards that we pulled, having all to do with understanding your truth and the compassion, being compassionate, you know. The truth is to tear down, down, down those walls you've built. If you're lucky, you fall into the hands. But something is stronger. How passion's compassion, realness like feelings can't be bought. Kind of like these lessons, remember the ones you taught. All right, so it's about truly figuring out what it is that you want to express, and then deciding, is it a true expression? Is your formula holding? Or does it need to be changed? And be okay with that. Okay? So 9-9, we pulled at the root, we pulled the Chariot. At the sacral, we pulled the World card. At the solar plex, we pulled the Judgment. And at the High Priestess, we pulled, at the heart, we pulled the High Priestess. And at the throat, we pulled the Sun. At the third eye, we pulled the Hermit. And at the crown, we pulled the Lovers. So again, this really, 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 really talks about going from understanding that infinite connection, and that you're at the reins of it, and that, you know, at some point you have to understand you're in control, this is your world, and then going from there and saying, hey, is this the world that I want, or am I being true to my spiritual wants? Do I need to go inside to figure this out some more? And will I be aware of the choices that I now need to make based on knowing how to do this now? Because maybe I didn't know how to do this. Maybe maybe I just, I manifested doing, the duality. And now I finally am at the place where it is my turn to express. It's my turn to stand up and fight for. Okay, so right now we're going through pressures, where you are being challenged, and are you going to be able to articulate authentically your position? And does that position hold water when you're combated with other people's articulations of their interpretations of reality? And so just kind of understanding, what is your spiritual fight here on this planet currently? And are you willing to accept it now that you've manifested the ability to fight? Are you going to use it? Is it time to use it? Is it time to hold steady and reserve using it? Do you need to position yourself? So, honestly, I'm going to do a little shout out to Annie Lennox, because, this woman is constantly, an artist who is embodiment of warrior. She is always taking up the plight of humanity. I couldn't get the song out of my head. Sing, my sister, sing. Let your voice be heard. I mean, I can't do no Annie Lennox because that's Annie Lennox, you know. Sing, my sister, sing. Let your voice be heard. You know, she's talking about the power of women, but currently she's in a plight for the right to live on this planet. And, you know, we are all subject to the population control antics of our governance. And so when we are faced with a spiritual plight to stand up and stand for you need to understand, you know, did your soul come here to battle? Is that what your soul came here to do? Or did your soul come here to feed the masses and die for the cause? Okay, what is it that your soul came here to do? And do you care to know? Because you're manifesting all of these things. And are they wants or are they needs? There's what you physically, you know, want. And then there's physically what you need. So comprehending what it is, you know, that you're really standing up for and that you're really fighting for, you know, you have to reckon that with your soul. And if you don't, then you will come again and come again and come again and come again until you figure out how to reckon with your soul to be who you came here to be. And on any level, you know, nobody has to be the highest, nobody has to be the lowest. Again, it's by comprehension of perception, where you're at. Where I'm at may be the highest, but there's always somebody higher. I wanna go higher. And then once you get there, there's a whole other, you know, existence to comprehend. So always being humble enough to see that if you're an artist, are you a warrior? Or do you just want to make pretty things? You know? If you're a warrior, is your battle spiritual? Is it mental? Is it physical? And have you developed yourself in order to take the stance that you need to take? Or are you just there to seek approvals from others? So the discomfort of being in 8 means that you have to be willing to be in the 9, the dark before the dawn. Okay, so if you're going to leave your comfort of just manifesting into actually taking action and to creating something, then you have to be willing to see that I have to have convictions. I can't just say. That has to be backed up by the actions that I take. So standing up for something or standing on principle about something, who am I sacrificing, and do I have a right to sacrifice that? Is that mine to stand up for, or are they on their own? Am I all right with the mass death that happens on the behalf of my freedom or health? Because I personally have a fight because I disagree with some of the powers that be. So now I have manifested myself as a warrior. Do I know even how to handle this fight? Can I calm my voice down in order to express my perspective of this fight? Or do I have the ability to maneuver my 1-2 uppercut down and swipe you out from underneath your legs? Can I do this? Is this within my capacity? Can I do it within the capacity that's been given to me? Or do I have to take actions elsewhere? And with whom's life am I doing this? You know? Doctor or scientist goes into the lab and they, have to create a counter to the infectious disease that they, have, felt as a plague upon the earth. And so do they have a right to tag us all and bag us all based on, their experiments? Or do I have a right to die intact, pure, unspliced, unaltered? I mean, just because I'm part of the population, does that mean I have to be subject? Can't we just evolve naturally? Or do we have to be chemically altered fucking GMO human beings? Is that the only way? Because I'm all for it. I've said it before, I've said it again, I'll say it again. I got nothing wrong with cyborgs. Living for it, love it, want to go to outer space, all kinds of shit. If it means I got to be a cyborg to be there, I don't know. I think I might want to leave the nanotechnology out of me and evolve on the planet the way the planet wants me to evolve. Because I'm not afraid of her. What I am afraid of is a false choice. Or not really having a choice. Pretending. They give me the grievance paper so they know how to respond to the grievance, right? So, just comprehending what the 8-8 portal versus the 9-9 portal, and ironically, how I sing my eternity, eternity to eternity, magical, sacred harmony, positive power, infinite connection, positive and vertigo, positive and vertigo, positive and vertigo, reflection. I do the 999 on purpose. Positive and vertigo, positive and vertigo, positive and vertigo. I do that on purpose. Why? Because negative plus a negative plus a negative equals a positive. It's mathematics, man. It's all mathematics. So we are at a point in time right now that we can choose to turn all what seems negative into something that is positive. You can see every single loss that you have ever felt or had as a loss, or you can combine it with the other losses and see how it's become something that you have grown from in order to create the next thing that you understand, because now you've learned all the lessons. Does that make sense? So if I have ice cream 3 days in a row, at some point I'm going to get sick of ice cream. It's the positive side of it. Okay, that don't make no sense, but you know what I'm saying. If you're going to keep yourself from overindulging, is the point I'm trying to make. Sometimes you have to fall down drunk in order to figure out, I don't like being drunk. Those kinds of things. Or just figure out where your place of balance is. The willingness to see what your authentic truth is, or requires you being wrong from time to time. That's the fucking point. So I may stand up for something, and then I may find out that thing was not worth me standing up for. or I may fail to stand up for something. And then I find out that that has costed me dearly. So 9-9 is an opportunity to say, where's the truth? That dark before the dawn has happened too many times. What am I learning from it? Because unlike 8, you don't get to stay there infinitely. It will keep pounding you and pounding you until you figure it out, so that you can have that time of reflection before going on to the next evolution. So that's where I'm at with that. So you taking a major time out whenever you need, in order to honor your inner truth. Because we all need times out. We all need to contemplate our inner truth. And we all need to keep ourselves from being isolated, so that we can have real intimacy via food or connections, physical, spiritual, or mental. So we need to be able to understand that with honoring our sacred intimacy, that we build traditions, and sometimes we need to seek out those who know more about traditions than we do and find those mentors and get that help that's needed. All right, so mind is ace, or 1, eternity. Body is 6, positive. Soul is but why? But why? Joker. Home, health, wealth, and hearth. That which you create, that which you build, that which you sustain, sustenance, pass on, legacy, genetics. 2, eternity. All right, so 2 eternity comes up a couple of different times. High Priestess and Heart. Okay, so Heart is also going to be represented by Home, Health, Hearth, and Wealth, and also by High Priestess, Heart. And then also as High Priestess for the 3rd eye, for 8. Okay? And then the Kali Oracle that we will pick. As always, Patreon links and Cash App and any sort of Venmo donations that you guys want to make. And or like or subscribe, all that bullshit, find it, seek it. If you want to help me, then you'll help me, because we are Anarchy Wellness and we do support artists who otherwise would not receive wellness, because to be an artist has no insurance. And once you start making money, you're not allowed to qualify for the underprivileged insurances that they try to say we have. All right, let's do Catley Oracle. What she got? 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Isn't she lovely? Isn't she marvelous? She got that heart chakra expression right there. Check out that expression of her jewels. Okay, look at them sun rays going on. Okay, I feel like she's got our reads, the manifestations, and then the becoming, and just forward thinking. Look at all her beautiful, but I also see, what is that? Is it tears falling? I'll have to look, because it looks like jewelry, so she's got rays of sun. Anyhow, now I'll have to read her. Kamala Devi. She's bringing the lotus, and the lotus represents a high frequency, the highest frequency. These are not tears. These are her jewels. And she comes with guided insight and knowledge from the third eye. So she is, right dad smack in the middle of everything. She is a witness, it looks like, who resides on 25. Isn't she lovely? And so, as fast as I can, I'm not going to try to be here all night. We've already been here an hour. So we're going to get this done as soon as we can. And of course, I can't see shit because I don't have my glasses on. I'll try to keep it quick. Witness. Yeah, see? She is a witness. Okay, we witness her beauty, and all the struggles melt into grace upon her graceful sigh. The heart signifies into her protection and radiations of peace. Her presence transforms frustrations into inspirations, fatigue into replenishment, and overactivity into effortless action. She is the golden pathway of divine manifestation and power. Contentment, peaceful contentment, not power contentment. She empowers our heart to receive such with the same generosity and openness and grace that you express when you give freely and joyfully. Abundant divine blessings are upon you. The 10th of the 10 Mahaviras, the wisdom goddess, is the gracious goddess Kamala. Her presence reminds us not to make things more difficult for ourselves than they need to be. Sometimes the assumption of burden is necessary for our growth. At other times, the growth happens when we learn to cast our burdens aside. So again, knowing when to fight, knowing how to fight, knowing why to fight, knowing if you got the tools to fight. Okay? I don't know how long I can do this. Like my eyes really can't see. It's dark in here and everything. Other times, growth happens when we learn to cast aside the burdens, understanding that we will be able to offer so much more when not carrying another's on our backs, so to speak. Sometimes a more graceful path evokes greater spiritual progress, which ultimately benefits all beings. Tough. I walk away from a fight. Is that me? Or pass the buck on my burdens? What am I really doing here? Or, again, carrying others on our back. It's tough, sometimes you do feel responsible for others. Camila Devi holds the wealth generating life force, processing quality, and preservation of all civilization. Good God, okay? Like, what are we talking about here? Remember I talked about population control and just like, do we stand up for ourselves and all that stuff? If we are used to always giving out, even if we receive a lot, but consistently overshare or lack our energies, she teaches us. What does she teach us? She teaches us the loving art of self-valuing. This is not selfishness, but self-care. When we care for ourselves, we shadow the respect of who we are and what we have to offer. Again, honoring that sacred intimacy, understanding that you may or may not have boundaries that need adjusting, whether they need to be more strict or more lenient. That is, what we're deciding here when we say intimate, sacred intimacy. Because I thought that being promiscuous as a youth, and I disagree with that now. Does that make me wrong back then? Not necessarily. Again, up is only up from a perspective of down. That respect is an energetic broadcast that repels or lower level energies and gives it fairness of mind and boundaries wisely, and sets boundaries wisely while attracting opportunities and pathways for expansion. Didn't I just say that? When genuinely good and true, the things that are strengthened and shared, every being gains spiritual benefit. Okay, so if I, oh my God, take motherfucking 12. My ability to get through this reading has just been tested. So, personal issues, right? But let's try to pick up where we left off, which I have no idea where that was. Putting everything in a nutshell is great. It's like nutshell, there it is, boom. But it lacks the depth that we like to consider. So my apologies for being vague and the whole take what you can get from it, and hopefully it's useful. If it's useful, use it. If not, toss it out the window, that kind of thing. But eternity to eternity. magical sacred harmony, positive power, infinite connection, positive and vertigo. My exhaustion is real. It's mental exhaust. I'm spent. I am over it. I am trying to figure out why I keep being called to do this. Like it's, in my mind, and it's like, hey, you gonna do that? Hey, you gonna do that? You gonna get that reading done? You remember you've been thinking about it for like, however long? The dangers of manifesting is not something anybody's talking about, you only learn once you get what you want. If it's something that you truly wanted, or if the cost was too great, or if you failed to, again, take the proper action to get the desired, manifestation. I talk about health, so I'm talking about, for me, a really good example is wanting to learn Ayurveda and trying really hard to get to New Mexico to, learn from this Dr. Ladd. And then Dr. Ladd came to my area and was allowed, and I was fortunate enough to learn from him there. And so my anxiety has subsided on that level. That was my Dr. Ladd impression. The point being is I did the work to not just manifest him coming towards me or a school providing the education. I stayed in the job and continued to learn Ayurveda and its principles, and I developed my skill. So I took the ceremonial action behind the desire or the manifestation that I needed, and I wasn't attached to how I get it. There was no outcome. I just, put my little post in the area that we do manifestations, which is the wisdom area of your space in feng shui. I would say it's the they divide it up into 9 spaces. Chinese feng shui, which I don't know where the roots are. I think there's Japanese feng shui, there's Indian, Middle Eastern Indian feng shui, and I'm not the most educated on regions, but what I do understand are the 4 directions, and within the 4 directions there are the elements that are represented, and within the elements that are represented there are attributes. That's what Ayurveda taught me. In my personal culture, we honor the elements as they are: fire, water, earth, air, and ether. And so if I were to divide this space up into 9 places, this would be considered the wisdom area, this area. So that's the area of your room that you would create your altars for your ancestors, or place gifts that you don't necessarily want to toss away because they, the person who gave them to you matters, but you don't really like the gift. So you put it in a place of familial binds without binding your entire space. I hope that makes sense. So anyways, just saying, when we put our sacred objects in a certain place, they don't create the dogmas or the concerns or anything like that we fight through when it comes to faith and religion and sacred practices and things like that. So, or for that matter, attachment to those things, like our families are more traditional than us, and so their gifts become, they may have an attachment to them that is a prayerful attachment for you, and yet still that prayer has nothing to do with your desires when it comes to, what you want for your life, okay? So just trying to get back to the reading as fast as I can, which is not fast at all, and try to not have any further interruptions. Obviously, this is being posted a month and a day late, but my 19 followers, now more than 8, which is great. Yeah, so thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. I don't get any 19 likes, I noticed. But whatever. Every once in a while I might get 19 views, so I appreciate that. Perhaps you don't like the video. Perhaps it is just winded and boring and all that good stuff, so then that's telling too. It's only the other 6th job that I have that, doesn't make any money. So what does it matter, right? Are we really working for money? No. Can't pay me to be me. Right? Can't pay me enough to honor my skills. Don't nobody believe in me the way I believe in me. So again, getting into the reading, talked about, not seeking outside validation, or not being ruled by the successes of materialism, rather having a inner purpose and inner strength to to continue doing what you do, and inner validation, taking time to create something that is peaceful within you, so that wherever you go on the journey, you're always, able to be in a complete wholeness, oneness of your entire self, understanding that it is a piece of the journey. So yes, every dark place is lighter than another. Every light place is not as bright as another. So just truly understanding that to be able to manifest things is a practice, to be able to discern if you've manifested in a way that you wanted, or if you're ready to take action towards those manifestations in a more thorough way. I talk about health, but the areas where it's like, oh, I'm gonna manifest a shit ton of money, and then one of your loved ones gives you an inheritance. Was that a little bit too costly? Can you imagine that sort of thing? So just truly doing the work. So if you're gonna manifest something, see those steps towards that goal and manifest taking those steps. That is the ceremony of saying, I will bring to me the abundance, earning in a good way, versus, oh, let me win the lotto, where there's no work involved in it at all. No wonder people become miserable after winning $1 billion, right? Or money creates fights, because what we have manifested is the win, where that means that people are losing and that there is loss, or I have to share my winnings, but I then lose. So sad as fuck shit, right? You know, it's like, so then you become this hermit and you become this hideaway and you isolate because you're so afraid of, you know, forcing somebody to fall in love with you and then realizing you don't love them the way that you had intended for them to love you. These kinds of things, you know. It's a tragedy, you know, to get what you want and then realize you don't want it. It's a tragedy. And so truly, truly, truly understanding why you're attempting to manifest what you'll manifest. Let's talk about home health and hearth and wealth. If you're manifesting, you know, a home, if you're manifesting a job, and then you get these things and you hate them and you feel imprisoned by them, things like that, you know what I mean? So truly, truly, truly understanding and dissecting your manifestations. This is my heed, if you will, for you to follow. Because the irony is that all manifestations come from a pure desire. And they only hold water when they come from a pure desire. I wanted my opera off Broadway. And then I lived on the street called Broadway, and I was set just off of it. So again, I get what I want because I truly desired it and gave it a timeline and everything. So irony, right? And then feelings of disappointment because of that irony, and feeling like you didn't win or that you did it wrong and stuff like that. So just, you know, careful. Careful. Because manifestations are real. So truly, truly having that discernment, the dark before the dawn, just before you get what you asked for, ask yourself, is it truly what I want? And do I need to change my manifestation? Do I need to comprehend it differently? Can I get more exact with it? Those are my warnings. What are you going to do? All right, let me see if I can see, because I can't see. I didn't got my glasses. They broke. And is that a symbol? Glasses breaking? You know, am I able to see into the sights anymore? Can I practice my eyes to work stronger? Do I need to, because that goes blurry again. If I like start looking and try to look hard, and it just gets harder and harder to see. So if I just relax my eyes and just assume I can see, then all of a sudden I can see. Weird. Alright. Did this thing work? It works on this one. It's not like my writing. Camila is particularly active within the heart of those who naturally feel there is a universal truth that cannot be. Let's see if I read. And what do we... Okay, this is what I recall. We cannot find our authentic being within such constraints. Social conditionings lack the wisdom, generosity, freedom, respect, spaciousness, and insight to be able to bear the process of an individual awakening. Let me see, I'm just gonna go like this, okay? You can't see me, okay? We like that. Cyclops. Cyclops. Okay. This is what I want to do. How come it doesn't do it like, anyways. Wait, maybe it's supposed to be this way. Tantra exists outside conventional religion practices and social mores. We cannot access true and sacred knowledge of oneself or the world when bound by the opinions of mass culture. We cannot find our authentic being within such constraints. Social constructions lack the wisdom, generosity, freedom, respect, spaciousness, and insight that to be able to bear the process of individual awakening that can only happen outside of society's constraints. This is why enlightened mystics in every religion tradition have always come into conflict with traditional figureheads in their religion. The Divine Mother protects the path to fulfillment even when authority and bureaucracy try to stifle it. Be direct about your intentions and desires. Allow her to show you the graceful path through any difficulty by consulting within your heart and having the patience and willingness to see another way. Locking horns in direct conflict is far from always being the path to lead you towards the outcome you wish. Camila Devi brings gifts of abundance on every level, and though the inner sense of spiritual security cultivated, and fearlessness of heart is born, she is the lotus flower, the significance, this signifier, polluted. She is the lotus flower, the significance of wealth. Okay, heart, health, wealth. Of such nature that spiritual life is enhanced, not polluted. Okay, I'm going to read that one more time. She is the lotus flower, the significance of wealth, of such a nature that spiritual life is enhanced, not polluted. She knows she is sattvic or peaceful and carries the energy of Mother Mary. Mother Mary, can't you help me, 'cause I've fallen astray? All the angels that were around me have all flown away. Give me something I can believe in. Teach me how to pray. And you could do drugs, and you can smoke weed, and you can drink whiskey. Yeah, you can get high, and you can get stoned. And you can drop E, and you can do L, and you can do all kinds of shit. Forever be lost with no way home. Literally the best Madonna song ever written or sang or performed. Before her fall from my grace, I literally, would be watching her as a cultural pillar, where everybody else would sort of, mimic or copy or do something. I saw her cultural references as well. I saw who she mimicked. I saw who she, was influenced by. Just the same. But, somebody who's a born performer, who wanted to be considered an artist, and had to hone her craft And, you know, it did truly get way better, you know. She went from singing, oh, you're an angel in the skies, I can see it in your eyes, to Mother Mary, can't you help me? I mean, you know, the depth is noted. And my judgment of her may be wrong or right. It doesn't matter. My assessment of pop culture, though, is something I'm afflicted with on a daily. I'm disappointed in pop culture entirely because I grew up on Fame, you know. I'm still mad at Fame for not hiring Madonna. But hey, they gave us Janet, right? So, and I have this fear of my love for my pop stars now because of this disappointment. Are they selling me an ideology that, or they try to program? Are they part of a programming? Are they really just sheep being herded, and they don't have, you know, they think they know what they're promoting, but then they're truly promoting something else? I mean, are we so duped, easily duped? Again, she manifested her pop stardom and she worked for it, and now she has it. Is it what she truly wanted? You know? Because being seen as an artist doesn't necessarily mean you gotta be a pop star, right? So she wanted to be famous. She wanted, you know, did she truly want these things? And was it about what she was hoping for? So this is what I mean by manifesting, okay? And how we can get into, bitch worked so fucking hard, right? Like a lot of pop stars do. They work very hard, like most people do in life. They work very, very hard. Is it for and towards the direction that they're hoping for? And who gets to decide what that truth is? Ultimately, though, the lyrics stand in reflection to, you know, again, knowing when to or how to pray, knowing what to pray for. You know, I can't just say world peace, because you know how some people gain peace, right? You know, they think it's important to abolish an entire people in order to have peace. Is that the peace is that what we were trying to manifest? Okay, so just I want to end world hunger, you know what I mean? But does that teach us to share, or self-sufficiency, or to honor other people's communities? If I create the broken in order to create the funding in the name of the broken, and take a little bit for ourselves so that we can live, that's bullshit. Okay, so to my mind, my prayer, if you will, is about that humanity learns to honor being human being, and traditions of culture, and that they honor the cultural way to extract the goods from this planet where she has allowed us to be plentiful, in the way that the Amazon do, without taking too much, without needing to, you know, we don't know the technologies that they have developed. They don't want us to know, because we misuse technology. Okay? In order for me to get this video out to you, somebody has to be enslaved so that I can have a phone. I have to rip out my lungs in order to provide a home. Trees and whatnot. Alright, so just things. Mary Magdalene is the... Wait, Mary Magdalene and the planetary sister to... As the planetary sister to Earth, Venus. Mary? Okay. She is known as the Sattvic, or peaceful, and carries the energy of Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and the planetary sister to Earth, Venus. These beings manifest gentle yet effective enlightenment, feminine activity for the spiritual benefit of all. This vibration is far from common on our planet, yet its barriers can often recognize one another. They have a mutual love of beauty, respect for nature, and a deep and unwavering love for the divine. They also have a life purpose of embodying higher frequencies, energies, and those commonly manifested in human energies than collectives. At this time, Kamala is often particularly healing for highly sensitive people who feel a natural energetic resonance with her delicacy and subtleties. Kamala is particularly active within the hearts of those who naturally feel there is a universal truth that cannot be constructed by any single path or opinion. These are the freedom-loving souls that believe in live and let live, and yet devote themselves to whatever path truly resonates with them in hopes that it can bring benefits to the collective. They do not wish to convert or control, but to share their knowledge and wisdom from the hearts, because they have found such comfort and grace in what they have learned. When you receive with such generosity, you want to share the wealth. Kamala is a sign to share what you know, to increase the love and peace in the world without trying to force or dominate another to agree with you or your viewpoint. She asks you for your unconditional trust so that you can gently disentangle your soul for the obstruction and lowering energies to help you. Rise above or shine a beautiful light. Not a comment, believe me. Mother Kamala Devi, gentle and all-powerful divine queen, supreme feminine being without consort or constraint, goddess of present moment, sacred mother of fulfillment of innate divine purpose, you provide us wealth to support our soul's awakening. After the fires of transformation and sacred exertions of will to conquer and the obstacles, you are peace, assurance, comfort, and success. You are the divine harvest. You are blessed final outcome, the divine fruition. I bow to Kamala Ma and evoke the growing presence, influence, protection, and guidance in my life and the world for spiritual benefit and all beings. Jama. Okay, so, and then there's a bunch else at the bottom with sacred, wordings and things like that. So, very fit for the cards that we pulled, because it all talked about an evolution of first being condemned by your passions, and then learning to go within, and then truly acknowledging what your passions are and allowing yourself the comfort of being so that you may awaken, whether it is your passions, your heart, your soul, whatever it is. I literally can't see. All right, so magic of industry. to eternity, passion. Positive, industry. Sacred, minerals. Positive and vertigo, passions. Harmony, wisdom, community. The King of Wisdom provides something sacred, because I also reside on the 1-3. So, sacred wisdom, the staffs. Somebody able to utilize all the wisdom. Feminine. Okay, so we're going to call this masculine then. Masculine community, masculine wisdom, along with feminine industry. So interesting. What is the oldest profession? Oh, happy birthday to me on the 5th. So I'm having my cake and I'm eating it too. All right? You know why? Because I do lots of breathing exercises. So I'm just gonna keep going. Sacred community. Eternity, community, wisdom. Wisdom found through broad thought, breaking this chain of earning, can sicken life for what was for. Ashes rejected, and the peaks are all burning. Lost them pages, forced to be subjected. All right, so right off the bat, we do have an ace, we do have a 6, and we do have a 2. So we do have a mind representing wisdom, and we do have a body represented by industry, and we do have a home, health, hearth, wealth, and health represented by passion. So as always, the wisdom of the mind has the power over the body to produce, to discern what to put in, to press the breath out so that you may utilize the mind's ability to be wise, and deliver the abundance to. In order to bring about the home, health, wealth, and hearth. And so in the first lay of the read, magic to eternity, positive, sacred, positive and vertigo, harmony, masculine wisdom, feminine industry, sacred community, and mindful eternity community. So this is about seeing your being as a universe, and that you are a part of the universe. And so while you may be manifesting your own personal passions and creating your own personal industry, having a mind to connect harmoniously and treat things sacredly, and having the wisdom to do so, collecting the different levels of staff wisdom in order to gain these things. It may feel like your passions have yet to come, but they are gathering. Your passions are building. And so being able to trust, to have this detached wisdom in order to continue on in your industry with compassion. These are the things that I'm getting a sense of right here. So we started off with the magic of industry along with the passions, and how that is about the body, and how that will inevitably lead to your wisdom. So utilizing your industry and utilizing your passions, then we have 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, so when you compound your passions and treat your body sacred, the home, health, hearth, and wealth comes from looking at your body as an industry, because my mind has to work with my guts have to work, my heart has to fuel what's behind all of the intentions in order to utilize my minerals in a sacred way. So that I gain the wisdom for all of eternity, for every eternity, because eternals go on. And then into connecting 3, 2, and 9, we have wisdom, completion. This is reflection, wisdom reflected. Okay, so quite frankly, the industry of your the magic of your industry, the home, health, hearth, and wealth. Let me just go ahead and say that she is 12, which equals 3, and so she is also represented by that 3, with the being the same industry, representation of industry. Okay, whatever your industry is, the industry of your body, the industry of your wellness, and understanding that yes, you need to understand when it is that you've got to contemplate, do we do battle for our body's protection? Am I supposed to get one every single time they tell me to, or can my hormonal balance adapt? Okay, so why is it that science suggests that we're supposed to somehow evolve past the cold, and yet they incubate new and designer colds, for us not to ever evolve from? I simply need to spit, and I am well. I simply need to blow my nose, and I am well. I promise you, some lymphatic drainage is all your industry needs, okay? We can stimulate the lymph in many different ways, but if we fail to stimulate it, our ankles will explode. Tickle it. Just tickle the ankles. If they've got too much fluid, just tickle them. If you can't sleep, wake up. Get moving. Listen to your body tell you, and be wise, because it is trying to either pinch or poke you in order to reflect something that your spirit's trying to tell you, or it's causing you internal pain, trying to let you know this ain't how we do it. You can't succumb to addiction and fail to learn why your body became dependent. It was the ceremonial action that you took that caused the addiction, because you manifested the mind altering. But today these kids are subject to pop culture that says that we are supposed to jab the fuck out of our fucking brains with devices and medicines that are foreign, rather than honor the sacred minerals that we have that hold a true wealth, okay? That give us a strength of being so that our wealth is constant. And you must go inside and say, is this a battle for you? And you must go inside and say, am I willing to stand up and go against the grain and create harmony from the wisdom that I challenge? Even though it seems like perhaps the passion that leads me into a place of isolation, of unfulfillment, of almost getting there but not yet. Having faith that I will get there because it is my fate to fight in this time. You've got to decide. I've got to decide. We've all got to decide. You don't get to be complacent. And, we don't get to fail. You gotta do it again and again and again and again until you don't. Until you stop failing. Until you open your eyes and see into the sights. See into the sights, the sights. All right, so, see? And then the industry, the passion and the industry put together will create a powerful body of industry and harmony within your wisdom. Your wisdom will always link you if you're willing to gain it, because it does have trials. You don't get to 10 without first understanding that you've got to be at 5. You must gain those first staffs, those first pillars of wisdom, before you can turn around and reflect and say, I can now create something of it. Magical minerals. So we got power. Power comes up as in the reading, root chakra, chariot, power, physical security. So again, getting into that duality of purpose, of knowing that you must be able to reign and wield this physical and spiritual forces that pull at you to finally figure out where's the wisdom taking you. Sacral pulled the world card, which equals 3, accumulation of completion of minerals, of understanding the minerals that I got a vegan cake. I'm not vegan, but it just turns out that when they make vegan baking goods, they're better for you. It's better flour. I'm not vegan. Why do only the vegans get to be considered as smart enough to have good food? You know? So I put into my body a choice. Because I'm chock full of wisdom and can now make those choices. Third eye, 9-9 pulled the Hermit, which equals 9's positive and vertigo, finding the answers within. Again, these are things that I keep sort of bringing up because I want you folks to realize that I did just kind of roll over you know, but again, the heart pulled the High Priestess, which is a 2. And so again, we talk about, you know, the internal approval versus the external approval. And now we have passions connecting. All right, so passions lies in between 9 of passions and harmony of wisdom and feminine industry. Okay, so no matter what, our body, is it body? What is 2? Our home, health, hearth, and wealth lies within our passions and the way that we treat our industry. Okay, our wisdom, when harmonious, may still feel somewhere in there some dissonance that compels us to continue to go forth so that we can get to the greater wisdom. It's, you know, the almost factor. Okay, and then again, when you're passionate and you go for it and on every level, and you have a certain faith within your fate, you know, how's it go? Her life is superficial, and it gets sad to say the least. She hasn't any aim until she finds the shame in her hypocrisy. And blind is the fate she's quenching to, 'cause her fate shall guide her to a shallow pit of who she used to be. All right, so just, you know, if you fail to take actions towards what you feel your fate is, you don't really have any faith in it, do you? So following your passions and understanding the dark before the dawn, and then finally getting there. And to realize that what that means is that you begin again industry. So always keeping not just a compassion for your industry, but also a childlike mind for your intelligence within that industry. So be willing to not just be wrong, but evolve. You know, realize when something is no longer working. Okay, I can take all the seaweed I want to clean out my system, but at some point that's not going to be strong enough, and I need, because the foods are getting more condensed, or whatever the case may be. I'm metaphoring my life away. So now I have to do the moss, you know, things like that. This is what we realize in the end, is that the reflection of our minerals and how we use them, and our ability to not just gain wealth, but utilize wealth in a way that stands up for power to the people. It's done, and I'm exhausted. And it's always so quick on my end because I'm like running through it, but ultimately when I pull the chakra tarots from astrology.com, or when I do the Kali Oracle, or when I do the personal interpretations of mind, body, soul, health, heart, and wealth, within a collective consciousness. I do this because I would like for these to be for folks, not just personal readings to myself, but currently, because I'm the only energy here, it's hard not for it to be myself. So in that, I have to assume if I'm going through something, then 10 are going through it too. If 10 are going through it, then 100 are going through it. You know what I mean? So we are here to battle together on an individual plight. The right to be well. The right to have a strong mind and still be part of the eternity. The right to be body positive and wield an industry that serves that. I think we've done that. I think that is one of the achievements that we've had. But the pendulum always swings, right? Again, you may think that thin was always, but heavy was many times beauty. So just, again, the pendulum, just going from one to the other and understanding that. So what didn't show up was the soul. And what a joke, because it was Joker. And I didn't, the absence of the soul means to me that that's what we have to go in and figure. All right? You must figure out how to find your place in this eternity, because it cannot all be physical. It cannot all be industry. It cannot all be about wealth. Your wealth must be something deeper. That's why we say home, health, hearth. That which you create, your abundance, okay? So follow those passions as always. It's going to guide you. Challenge your convictions. Be willing to see the choices that you have, okay? Be willing to challenge the choices that you've made and walk in a truer path when you go into your mind, when you go into your heart, when you go into your guts. Make sure they communicate with each other, and that can only happen through the expulsion, because everything within has to come out so that you may see it reflected. You must be able to see all that you see in front of you as a reflection of that which is inside of you. So if you see chaos outside, trust and believe there's chaos inside. If you see addiction outside, trust and believe there's addiction inside. It may not look like what you are, but that you find it. because there you gain the wisdom of how to see these things. Cheers.